My name is Kim Leslie. I come from a musical family. My father played saxophone and had his own bebop jazz 8-piece band. So as I was growing up, I was listening to a lot of jazz because that's what was being played in our house all the time. And I come from a family, my mother's side, of classical singers. So all of my grandmother's brothers and sisters were all classical singers, and there was about 8 of them. So my father's side was jazz, my mother's side was classical, and my parents went into show business really young, and that inspired me to just go that way as well. It just felt like the most natural thing to do. Hi, I am part of the universe, am I? All at once, I have hope, I have me, I have I. So by the time I was 12, I was singing in jazz orchestras and actually singing in wedding bands by the time I was 13 and 14, but don't tell anybody because I lied about my age. And then I became a professional singer. I was getting paid to sing by the time I was 14. So I was doing gigs at 14 years old and coming in late to school. Don't tell anybody that either. And then by the time I was 15, going on 16, I was working in professional shows. I started to write when I was about 24 and never looked back. It was like, once I found it, once I practiced and found it, the expression to write songs and to sing them and then to go out with my own band and play them was probably my greatest joy, and still is. My singing teacher died when I was about 21, and he asked me to carry on the legacy just before he died. His name was David Keller, and I had been going to him for lessons since the age of 17. So I'd had a good, 4 or 5 years of a lot of his teaching. So what I teach you guys is everything he taught me. I don't really add to it that much because it works.
I've been taking lessons with her since around 7th grade, about 4 years. Kim's great. With teaching me these great techniques that establish a really awesome foundation for me to build on when developing my voice and singing more.
I have hope, I have freedom, I have needs, I have wants.
I had been singing for a while prior to deciding to take voice lessons, and it was damaging my voice. I had developed vocal calluses from overuse of my voice or not doing it correctly. She helped me through that a lot. She teaches you these really great techniques for breath control and vocal techniques, warm-up techniques, and they help to establish this really great foundation. And then after that, it's just whatever you want. She doesn't control what you sing when you sing it.
There are many things we could do more, but it seems to work very well. The technique of this teaching is great for preserving the voice. That's where we go with it. We go with the technique, and then we go with singing songs that my students like to sing. I'm not the teacher that will say, you must do this, even if the student's not so inspired by it. I mean, there is a place for that, but it's not in here.
Every week, you go in and you do your warm-ups, you practice those techniques, you reinforce all that good stuff, and then she goes, what do you want to sing this week?
If you have a technique training, you're probably not going to lose your voice. If you're singing all the time, but you're not singing with a little bit of technique, then you can very easily damage your voice. Singing, I think that it's medicine for the soul. And that's one of the main reasons I do this.
play this well, I'll be very. My name is Guy Johansson, and I teach band at Middletown High School. So I went to Syracuse University, and I graduated in 2016 with my bachelor's, and then 2017 with my master's in music education. This is my 8th year in Middletown, going into my 9th year, and before that I was teaching private lessons, I was doing some after-school programs, and of course student teaching, but in a public setting where I'm getting paid, it is 8 years. When I'm teaching, I'm not really thinking in the through the perspective of performing in the sense of musical performance. I'm thinking about how can I inspire people to perform as a performer. Now, when I'm performing outside of school, I'm thinking, how can I help people respect me? How can I present myself in a way that is professional? How much attention can I give to the integrity of the music? And I'm thinking about what I can do in my own performance to better the ensemble. I perform with the Newburgh Symphony, the Greater Newburgh Symphony Orchestra, occasionally with the New York Wind Ensemble, and a couple of quintets here and there. Well, with the way I teach, I kind of teach in a really casual way where, I could admit mistakes and sort of riff off, what my students are saying or my coworkers are doing, whereas where I'm performing, I have to be 100% accurate 100% of the time, and I have to be able to replicate what I'm doing to a T. So I was sitting in my band class in 8th grade, and I remember my band teacher coming up to me. He tried to get me to play the baritone because I had big meaty chops, in his words, but I stuck with it, and the first time I remember being really validated and I felt important in that time of my life is when I got pointed out because I had practiced this really difficult part in our band concert music, and I got some really awesome recognition, and it just made me feel really good, and I kept with it, and I ended up feeling even better as I progressed through public school and decided to become a music teacher because I want people to have fun. Well, music is a lifelong activity, and the sooner you get involved with it, number one, the more time you will have spent with music, which is already validating and a sense of just place. And I think that as you go through school, you develop your own community with your friends, and you make lifelong relationships with not only the people around you, but also your instrument. And I think that music is one of the few things that people take away from high school and use for the rest of their lives.
My name is Josiah Trigueño, and I am a senior at MHS. I've been in band since 4th grade when I moved here for Brooklyn. Johansson is a queen. Oh my God. Johansson is the one that reintroduced music into my life. He just threw instruments in my face and wanted me to play all of them. It expanded my knowledge of music and my love for all the different instruments like this, a bunch of other instruments. Piccolo, flute, alto flute, regular flute, bass flute, clarinet, oboe, English horn, bass clarinet, alto sax, soprano sax, tenor sax, bari sax, wee bit of trumpet, a wee bit of trombone, a wee bit of tuba, piano, guitar, and ukulele. I feel like I would adjust it as easily adaptable. Like if we are all feeling the same rhythms, beats, downbeats, it's easy to just come together as one through music, at least.
My little slogan, band is fun. When we think of fun, we think of our friends, we think of our family, we think of an activity to do, we think of something that we enjoy, and I think that band is all encompassing because we get to make amazing music together. You get to practice something that you can be really good at. The more time you put in, the more you get out of it. And that's not true for a lot of things, but in short, band is fun.
My name is Aggie Kemple, and I'm the Director of Dance and Music Design School. I grew up in Cornwall, and I graduated from Cornwall High School, and I danced here at Dance and Music Design School as a student. I danced at a studio in Washingtonville when I was 4. There was an older woman who used to sit at the front with a cane, pound it on the floor, and holler out the ballet positions, and wouldn't let us talk. And then when the recital came around, I refused to go on stage. There was a British woman advertising for her dance studio that had just opened in Cornwall. And my neighbor said, I'm going to sign my daughter up. If you sign your daughter up, we can carpool. So I was 6. When I got a little bit older, my mom let me take some more classes, and I got to take my dance exams. All the teachers here were really supportive, very encouraging, just wanted us all to do our best and love dancing, and I think they accomplished that. Injury prevention is a combination of making sure each student has the required strength and technique to do what's being asked of them, and also making sure that you're working within each student's body capabilities. So if the dance step requires a leg up by your ear and the dancer doesn't have the flexibility to do that, and then you try to get them to get their leg up by their ear, then they're going to end up injured.
My name is Bianca Calori, and I've been dancing at Dance Design for 7 years. I think that dance design is a really positive environment, and you can learn a lot here through the teaching techniques that the teachers have, and other studios might not. Miss Aggie will teach a certain step or combination in a different way depending on the student, and she doesn't push people too hard that they won't improve, but she pushes them just enough to make sure that they do improve, and that will stick with them through the next class and then eventually the whole time that they're dancing. She understands that it does take time for things to click for certain people, so I think that that's really good. Dance design is a much healthier and better environment than some of the other dance schools. She creates a fun class that we can all have fun in and laugh and tell jokes while still learning a lot throughout the class. And I really like how she'll make the whole experience more exciting.
I like dance training for lots of reasons. One is social. Right? They're not attached to their cell phones. That's a bigger and bigger issue nowadays. So in dance class, you actually have to speak to your neighbor or dance with them or hold hands and skip with them. So I like it for the social. That has nothing to do with being a professional dancer. I like it because it's an artistic outlet, and so much of our young kid teacher or young kid schooling is about memorizing how to spell, memorizing math problems, memorizing science facts, memorizing history facts, and kids really need hands-on learning. And so dance is hands-on learning, but it's also creative learning.